Sigmund Freud's theory of psychoanalysis is a foundational concept in psychology based on his belief that much of human behavior is driven by unconscious motives. Central to this theory is the idea that the mind is divided into three components: the id, the ego, and the superego. The id is the primitive, unconscious part of the mind, operating on the pleasure principle. It seeks immediate gratification of basic instincts like hunger, thirst, and sexual desires. The id is present from birth and is focused solely on satisfying these urges, with no concern for reality or consequences. The ego develops as a person grows, working according to the reality principle. Its job is to mediate between the id's desires and the constraints of the external world. The ego seeks to satisfy the id's demands in a socially acceptable and realistic way. For instance, while the id might demand food immediately, the ego understands that waiting for a meal is more appropriate. The ego operates consciously and uses reasoning and problem-solving to manage behavior in the real world. The superego represents internalized moral standards and societal expectations. It develops later in childhood and strives for perfection, urging the individual to act according to moral values. It often conflicts with the id's desires, while the ego balances between them. The superego generates feelings of pride or guilt depending on how well a person's actions align with their moral standards. Freud emphasized that much of human behavior is driven by the unconscious mind, which harbors repressed memories, thoughts, and desires. He believed that unresolved conflicts between the id, ego, and superego, often stemming from childhood, could lead to mental health issues like anxiety or depression. The unconscious mind influences behavior in ways that are not immediately apparent to the individual. A key element of Freud's theory is the psychosexual stages of development, which are 5 stages through which children develop: oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital. Each stage focuses on a different part of the body as the source of pleasure and conflict. The phallic stage, for example, involves the Oedipus complex, where a child feels unconscious desire for the opposite sex parent and rivalry with the same-sex parent. Freud believed unresolved conflicts in any stage could lead to fixation, causing psychological issues in adulthood. To access unconscious thoughts, Freud developed several therapeutic techniques. One is free association, where patients talk freely about whatever comes to mind, allowing repressed thoughts to surface. Another is dream analysis, where Freud interpreted dreams to uncover hidden desires and conflicts. He viewed dreams as windows into the unconscious mind, with manifest content, or the dream itself, reflecting latent content, or the hidden meaning. Freud also described defense mechanisms, unconscious strategies used by the ego to cope with anxiety. Repression, where uncomfortable thoughts are pushed out of awareness, is the most common. Others include denial, refusing to accept reality, projection, attributing personal feelings to others, and displacement, shifting emotions to a less threatening object. Though heavily criticized, especially for overemphasizing sexuality and lacking scientific evidence, Freud's ideas have profoundly impacted psychology. Psychoanalysis influenced various therapies and remains significant in understanding unconscious motives. Freud's work also inspired thinkers like Carl Jung and Erik Erikson, who built on and adapted his theories. In summary, Freud's psychoanalysis posits that behavior is shaped by unconscious forces, particularly the ongoing conflict between the id, ego, and superego. Early childhood experiences and how these conflicts are resolved are central to personality development. Therapy in psychoanalysis aims to bring unconscious thoughts to consciousness, helping individuals resolve internal conflicts and understand their behavior better.